world that rewards urgency, speed, and constant output, clarity has become a lost skill. Power of the Pause is a space for leaders and changemakers who are ready to stop reacting and start discerning. Grounded in learning, science, and human-centered leadership, this series explores how regulation, intentional pause, and clarity become tools for ethical, sustainable leadership. Because when clarity leads, everything changes. Welcome your host, Dr. Darcell L.
We've been taught that power is loud, that it's about pressing harder, speaking faster, and doing more. But what if the real revolution is this? Choosing to rest, choosing to breathe, and choosing softness. Welcome to The Power of the Pause. I'm Dr. Darcell L. Today's episode is Softness is a Superpower. So when I say softness, I don't mean passivity. I mean nervous system wisdom, healthy boundaries, and a pace your soul can live with. The World Health Organization classified burnout as an occupational phenomenon in 2019, describing it as a chronic workplace stress that has not been successfully managed. The American Psychological Association reports that prolonged stress exposure is associated with increased risk of cardiovascular, and we know this, cardiovascular disease, anxiety disorders, immune suppression, and cognitive impairment. And I want to ask, has anyone noticed over the past, 5 years, anxiety, even among adults, has gone up? All of a sudden, we're discovering that we have anxiety or we've had anxiety. It would be argued that we've always had it, but it's just been triggered by certain stimuli. But I almost want to challenge that idea that an early or an adult onset diagnosis of anxiety is something that's always been there, but has been suppressed. I would say that there are triggers and stimuli in our environment that has built up over the years that have caused our nervous system to go into arrest. Now, I'm not a medical doctor, I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist, but these are just my observations. We also know that prolonged stress exposure causes illness. That's nothing new. We can oftentimes tie the health of our body to our nervous system and our stress levels and our cognition. In my H.E.R Global Journal, Reflections of Becoming H.E.R, I wrote, "Softness is the disciplined refusal to abandon myself in the name of being strong." That's a revelatory moment that I had to come to in my own life. And so my micro practice, when I began to realize that, oh, wait a minute, no. You're going to stop abandoning yourself in the name of being strong. That thing is so old and stale and outdated, it just doesn't work anymore. So here's what I want you to hold on to. Softness is not fragility. It is regulation. It is authority that breathes. It is authority that breathes. And when we come back, we're going deeper into why softness can feel threatening, especially if you've built your identity on being the strong one. Stay with me. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Now let's go deeper. Because if softness is a superpower, then we need to understand why it feels so uncomfortable. Most of us were not trained in regulation. We were trained in endurance, we were trained in performance, and we were trained in pushing through. So when your nervous system has been conditioned to operate in fight or flight mode for years and sometimes decades, calm can actually feel threatening. And this is not spiritual warfare, it's biology. Dr. Stephen Porges' polyvagal theory helps us to understand this. When the nervous system perceives threat, it mobilizes into fight or flight, right? We know this, we've heard that, right? The heart rate increases, the muscles tighten, breathing shortens, and the body prepares for action. Now listen, when safety is present, the ventral vagal system activates. And this is where connection, clarity, and creativity and compassion lives. So let me say that again. Clarity lives in safety. Creativity lives in regulation. You cannot access your highest executive function while your body believes it is under attack. You just can't do it. It won't do it. And here's where the becomes leadership is critical. Okay. Research consistently shows that chronic stress impairs decision making. Stress narrows cognitive flexibility. I said this in my first episode, and it reduces the ability to perceive nuance. So it increases reactive behavior. Okay. In other words, dysregulation shrinks your leadership range, right? It narrows everything, your perception, your ability to think clearly, and so forth. However, softness expands it. So, softness is not emotional intelligence, it's much deeper than that. It's neurological stewardship. Just think about that. So it's saying, I will not make high impact decisions from a dysregulated state. I will not respond to or from adrenaline when alignment is required. So instead of responding or reacting from your adrenaline mode, you're responding from an alignment mode. And here's something that we don't talk about enough. Many high capacity women built their reputation, and I know, on being the calm one externally, while internally running on cortisol. And you guys hear all these talks that's going on about cortisol now, and the dangers of cortisol. And I don't know why we didn't make it a thing back in the day, but it is definitely a thing now. And it is dangerous, and it is causing us such health challenges that it is something we really have to be in front of. We need to arrest that thing called cortisol. Okay. And we need to do that by nervous system regulation. We need to do that by radical rest. There are a number of ways that we needed to do that. We need to abandon the old guard and start with the new. Okay. We look composed, strong women. I've been there, done that. Who's used to functioning on strong externally, but we're actually internally functioning on cortisol. We look composed. We look delivered. We look executed. But our bodies, oh my God, our bodies that is bracing for the wet next. And when your body gets used to bracing, when bracing becomes the baseline for your body, you forget what ease feels like. Tell me you don't, because I know I did. Tell me you don't. You forget what ease feels like when your body, when rather becoming or bracing rather becomes the baseline for your body. When things go at ease, that's when you feel dysregulated. Messed up, isn't it? You forget that leadership does not require tension to be legitimate. It doesn't require all that stress and all that. Oh my God, let's make a decision. Okay, I'm on it. Give it to me. I'm gonna make it. It doesn't require you to be up all the time. You to be on 100 all the time. It doesn't require that. Even when things are moving quickly, even when things are moving in a fast pace, it doesn't require your body to go into a fast paced motion internally. Not when you know how to control that, when you know how to manage that, and you know how to regulate that. I've learned. And once I learned, can nobody take me back? Okay? I hope they can't take you back either. So ask yourself, when was the last time you made a major decision from a place of deep internal steadiness? Not urgency, not fear of letting someone down, not proving your capability, but steadiness. Softness restores that set steadiness. Oh my God, when I learned that. When I learned that by learning to embrace soft power and soft strategy, I steadied myself. I steadied my nervous system. What about you? I'm just saying, just wondering. I'm just a messenger here. Okay. Um, if you give your nervous system permission to widen its perceptual field, or let me say that differently. Yeah, you do need to give yourself permission. You need to give your nervous system permission to widen. But when you do, softness steadies you, and it does allow your nervous system to widen in its perception. And when your perceptual field widens, that's when you see options. Isn't that a wonderful thing? When you are under a lot of stress, but you're regulated, seems like it's an oxymoron, but when you're under a lot of stress, but you're regulated, you see options that you would not have seen before. That's a bonus. That's a good thing. You see nuances. You see timing. You see time. Timing is important. Timing is important. Timing can be a crutch too. Some people lean on it and never move forward, but timing is important. Know when to move, know when to pause, know when to hold them, know when to fold them. Your softness sharpens your discernment, period, point blank. And you can argue, you can try to argue with me if you want on that one. I will take you all the way down to the ground on that one in a debate, because softness definitely sharpens your discernment. And that's why I say softness is a strategy. Okay. It protects your future self from decisions that's normally made in survival mode. And boy, when you break up out of survival mode and start making decisions, ooh, ooh. Mm. And if you're listening right now and thinking, but I don't have time to soften, that's the signal and that's the pattern. That's what you need to change. Because urgency is addictive. Adrenaline can masquerade as productivity, but sustainability requires regulation. You cannot build long term impact on a dysregulated foundation. Strength without softness becomes strain, period. And strain always collects its interest. You better believe it. Strain collects its interest on your tail. It does it physically, emotionally, and relationally. Softness interrupts the interest that strain is trying to collect. Softness recalibrates the baseline. It doesn't make you smaller, it makes you sustainable. So here's a reflective pause. Where in my leadership have I normalized tension? Where have I equated exhaustion with excellence? And what would change if regulation came first, not afterwards? Because when regulation comes first, clarity follows. Where in your life do you need to be more clear? Where do you need more clarity? Clarity is quiet power. Oh, ooh, clarity is quiet power, honey. We'll continue this conversation in just a moment after the break. Welcome back. Now we move from neuroscience into embodiment. So tonight's Becoming H.E.R's focus, healed, defective, and reigning focus, is E for Embracing Trinity. And for me, Embracing Trinity is not abstract theology. It is nervous system grounding. It's remembering that my leadership is not solo. It is a partnership. It's a partnership with me and my creator. And so whenever I am carrying heavy things and I start to feel the weight of what I'm carrying, that's when I remember that I'm a little dysregulated, that I am not following the grace and the mercy that he has given me, because he tells me I can cast my cares upon him. You know, he tells me that I can make an exchange, a transaction with him. My cares for his burden is light, right? His yoke is easy, his burden is light. And so I can make a transactional exchange with him so that I don't feel like I'm carrying the weight of everything by myself. I may feel some of it, but I'm not going to feel the weight of it in a way that can be destructive to me. Right. So again, it's about nervous system grounding. It's the remembering that my leadership is not solo, it's a partnership. And when I operate as though everything depends on me, that's when my body tightens. Right. That's when my jaw sets and that's when my breath shortens. I have to literally remind myself to breathe. And that's when my sleep becomes fragmented. How many of you have fragmented sleep because you just carry so much, into your downtime, into your time of reset with you? All right. That's when you have to remember that you're not doing this solo, and you have to bring in the partner. You have to, when you feel like everything is big and you're carrying something so big, that's when you have to give it to the one who is bigger than us all. Okay. And that's when I remember that, my God, the Father, he's sovereign, that Jesus intercedes on our behalf, and that the Holy Spirit guides me. My nervous system softens when I remember these things. So my faith becomes embodied. It's not just something I'm thinking or speaking. It is something that now I'm carrying it out, all right, through intentional action. Faith becomes embodied. There is something profoundly regulating about surrender that is chosen and not forced. Let me say that again. There is something profoundly regulating about a surrender that is chosen and not forced. And let's be clear, surrender is not passivity, not at all. It is releasing the illusion of sole responsibility. So many of us were praised, have been praised for being the strong one. I identify, it's been me, I identify the dependable one, the one who doesn't break. The one who doesn't break. But the strength without surrender turns into isolation. Who can raise their hand and be honest and say, yeah, that's true? Who'll be honest to say, yes, all this strong person, strong woman narrative that I've been carrying has kept me isolated during some really important times in my life when I didn't need to be isolated. I needed to be in community. I was dysregulated. Okay. Isolation dysregulates the body, plainly. Jesus says to us in the scripture, come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. This is an invitation into co-regulation. Go read it. Rest is relational, okay? Rest is not laziness. It is spiritual alignment. So when I embrace Trinity, I remember I am supported beyond what I can see. I am guided beyond what I can calculate. And I am loved beyond what I can produce. Production has limits, but love does not. Softness emerges naturally when striving relaxes. Ooh, softness, I'll say it again, emerges naturally when striving relaxes. Not because the work disappears, but because the weight redistributes. Didn't I just say that we make a transactional exchange with God the Father? So let me ask you something tender, okay? Where are you carrying something alone that was never assigned to you? Think about it. Be honest. Because us strong women, us strong people, we feel like everything's assigned to us. We think everything ultimately falls on us. And I'm not saying that in some context that is not true in a way. But it's so easy when we function in that mode for us to pick up things that have never been assigned to us. So be honest with yourself. Ask yourself, where are you carrying something alone that was never assigned to you? Also, where has your identity become fused with over responsibility? Me, I'm her. Me, she, I'm her. I've been there. Where has your identity become fused with over responsibility? Oh, that used to be me. And on some days, it can easily be me again. I have to be intentional about that. That's why this power of the pause revelation for me has been so amazing. It has reshaped my life in such a way. Where are you gripping so tightly that there is no room for God, no room for community, and there's not even room for your own body to speak? Ooh, pause with that. Now let's practice embodiment. Well, yeah, I love me some breathing moments. If it's safe to do so, if you are aware you can do this, please join along. Place your hand over your chest. Inhale slowly. Exhale fully. And whisper internally, I am not carrying this alone. And say it again, I am not carrying this alone. Now, notice what shifts when you say that. When you say it inwardly and you say it intentionally, no matter how subtle you say it, no matter how subtle the shift, you should feel something when you believe what you're saying. I am not carrying this alone. Softness is not abandoning your ambition, it is anchoring it in trust. Softness is not reducing your impact, not at all. It is protecting your vessel. And you are a vessel, need I remind you. Your body is not a machine to be overridden. No, ma'am. And if you're here, no, sir. It is sacred architecture. See, Embracing Trinity reminds me that I am accountable, but not alone. I'm responsible, but not isolated. I'm called, but not required to self destruct. And that changes how I lead from the inside out, how I lead myself and how I lead others. It changes how I speak, it changes how I decide. See, softness, when rooted in faith, becomes unshakable steadiness. It's not loud, it's not frantic, it's steady. And steady leadership lasts. So after the break, we're closing with a charge and affirmation that I believe every high capacity leader needs to hear. Stay with me. I am safe to soften. I am held, led, and guided. I do not carry this alone. Softness is not you shrinking, it's you stabilizing. Softness is not weakness, it's wisdom under control. Softness is not surrendering your ambition, it's anchoring in sustainability. If no one has told you today, you are allowed to rest without apology. You are allowed to say no without guilt. You are allowed to pause without explanation. You are allowed to breathe without earning it. You are allowed to lead without strain. This is the power of the pause. And softness is your superpower. All right, good friends. Again, thank you so much for joining me today. And before we totally close out the show, I want to leave you with something that embodies everything we have discussed and we will discuss around the power of the pause concept. Listen, this narrative goes deep. It is layered. And my good friend, singer-songwriter Tony Coleman, we've been friends for a long time, wrote a song that encapsulates the entire essence of the power of pause. When he reached out to me over a month ago and said, D, I've been listening to your Power of the Pause talks. I have written a song called Power of the Pause that I think encapsulates that entire narrative. He wasn't lying. He's a good singer. He's a good songwriter. I knew it was going to be good. I did not know the song would be a banger. So let me give it its proper due. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy Power of the Pause, written and sung by Tony Coleman.
I was running, chasing noise, every sound, every choice, moving fast, no direction, heart full, no reflection. I was loud, not hearing me, lost inside momentum speed. Had to slow my spirit down, just to feel solid ground. It's power of the pause, when I stop and breathe. It's power of the pause, bringing clarity to me. Ooh, power of the pause shows me my way. I don't rush my purpose. I'm built to last, not fade. Oh, whoa. I was giving past my strength, trying hard, losing depth. Every yes felt heavy, soul tired, mind unsteady. I chose peace over pride, let the pressure pass me by. Now my steps are aligned, I move slow but right on time. When I stop and breathe, yeah. Power of the pause, bringing clarity to me. Shows me my way. I don't rush my purpose. I'm built to last, not fade. Yeah. Ooh, I'm not stuck. I'm aligning, not quitting, just refining. No, just standing. Yeah. Never running. Ooh, testimony.
Pausing isn't about stopping, it's about choosing wisely. Carry this pause with you into your decisions, your leadership, and the spaces where clarity matters most. Join me next time on Power of the Pause, where regulation leads, clarity guides, and leadership becomes sustainable.